So, as a generative AI company and as a generative AI tool, what better way to use Hapax than to literally ask it how we need to evaluate Hapax and other generative AI solutions that are out there? So, I'm going to do a very in depth prompt here. It's really just a few sentences of context, but it's around putting together an AI committee. There's a lot of the FIs that we work with that are starting small and creating committees to be able to evaluate these different solutions and understand the implications. Really depends on where you're at in your journey, right? But let's just use the example that I'll click generate here and I can read it off as it is generating. But our institution has put together an AI committee to evaluate GenAI and the benefits for our employees. The committee has 15 people from various departments, and we need to build out a structured way to evaluate the technology, create a 60-day evaluation plan that we can use as a starting point to evaluate GenAI tools like Hapax. Oops, and it cut me off. And I'm going to go back to the top here. And then furthermore, provide two examples of use cases for the following departments. And we'll just say like the C-suite, risk management, frontline staff, and IT. Obviously, you could add others. You could build on this. You could have other conversations. Say, hey, well, now I want to think about lending, right? So I'm curious to see what Hapax's response here is. I'd be happy to help create a 60-day evaluation plan for GenAI tools like Hapax, and then also provide those examples. So here's that 60-day evaluation plan, right? Keep in mind, I always say this, it's a first pass. You can tweak, you can adjust as you want, tell Hapax the ways you want to adjust the output. But days 1 to 10, introduction and planning, introduce the AI committee to this plan and objectives, review the current state of GenAI technology, identifying those key stakeholders, the roles, determine what the criteria are. Like are we going to determine the baseline for success on accuracy, reliability, security, compliance, scalability? Like what are the things that matter to us? Days 11 to 20, research vendor selection, research GenAI vendors, including Hapax and their offerings, shameless plug. Days 21 to 30, use case development and testing. Days 31 to 40, security and compliance evaluation. 41 to 50, cost benefit analysis and ROI evaluation. And then those use case examples, right, with C-suite, things like strategic planning, compliance across the entire institution. For risk management, developing those risk assessments, understanding the compliance implications for new documents or new policies. Frontline staff, I think we've talked about this in a lot of different videos, but giving them a trusted source of truth and context for the institution, where they can quickly go and find answers to the questions that are most pertinent. And then IT, understanding the network security, the system maintenance. These are just examples. Add more here. Have a chat. Have a stream of consciousness with the chat feature, and you'll be able to drill down into all sorts of different findings and all sorts of different kind of creative things that I think you will enjoy. Thank you.